twisting and turning, floating upstream on a river of God, drifting to nowhere, to somewhere beyond, beyond. Dark nights of the soul and the days of surrender, calling me home beyond. Cradles and broken bows rush to the sea, and sleepy rain falls on the town, and on down to a rocky stream. Children fighting and watching the news, swimming in circles, drowning on down to a briny blue. Gate, gate, all the farmers' sons and daughters tending to the vine, heed the calling, calling, all intending to a line, sifting sand through loving fingers, coarser into fine, manifesting power, focusing on the divine.
Many of you might know this one. If you know it, sing it. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Love you.
Wow, welcome everybody. It is so nice to be back to unlimited capacity. And congratulations to all of you who made it out this morning. If I did not have a previous commitment, I might have turned around when I hit the door and felt that warm air kissing me, yes. So my name is Steve Ferger, and I am your host for this morning's Sunday celebration service from the Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Springs. From beautiful Palm Springs, which is seasonably warm today, which everybody sitting in this room knows, and everybody at home. It's 117, I believe, we're forecast for today, so we're getting there quickly. But that was Gary Lynn Floyd singing One Big Family, and it's really starting to feel like one big family. Every week we've got more and more people coming back, and it's exciting to be around here right now. So on behalf of your leadership council, and our senior minister, Reverend Eunice Chalfant, and everybody who makes this, who works and pitches in to make this service come alive every week, welcome. And I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone here in person and everyone watching at home, and also a warm welcome. We have some new faces with us today, which is even more exciting. So if this is your first time visiting with us, just please raise your hand, and we've got a little welcome packet for you. Oh my goodness, this is great. Yeah. And we might have a welcome rain check, but it will only take a minute before we have those set up. So Tony, take some, we got a couple over here that, yes, we will pull those together while this all happens. So we are truly overwhelmed. That's great news. All right.
Come back next week.
So yes, welcome everyone, and no matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here, and we are glad to see you here. So we like to begin the service by reciting our mission and vision statement, and that'll be up here, and please read along with me. At CSL PS, we envision a world where oneness is cultivated, unity is lived, and reverence for all life is practiced, allowing us to thrive individually and collectively. And of course, we do this through the teachings of science of mind and spirit, and the practice of unconditional love. Okay, everybody that's here and everybody watching, get ready. We have a lot of announcements because we are back in action around here, and a lot of things are happening this week and in the month to come. So, starting this Wednesday evening at 6:30, join us for movie night at Wisdom Shares and Sacred Practices. This week, the movie is titled Finding Joe. And the Joe in question is none other than Joseph Campbell. So, Finding Joe takes us on the ultimate hero's journey, the journey of self-discovery. Joseph Campbell states, "We must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us." So please join Reverend Mark this Wednesday at 6:30, either here or online, and see what your own hero's journey has in store for you. All right, on Wednesday, July 7th, which is a week from this Wednesday, it's hard to believe that July 1st is this coming Thursday. Wednesday, July 7th at 3:30, please join Reverend Eunice for monthly visioning. Visioning will take place here in person and also online in our hybrid format. And as you know, visioning, along with meditation and affirmative prayer, is one of the 3 practices we teach here at CSLPS for revealing our highest good. So come help discover the next step in the evolution of our center and in your own life. That is Wednesday, July 7th at 3:30 with Reverend Eunice. Are you ready to be seen? Are you ready to be heard? Are you ready to be celebrated? Are you ready to live from the good in your life? Then join Reverend Rebecca every Monday from 2 o'clock to 3:30 in the afternoon, starting on July 12th, for Soul Sisters, a raising and praising women's group right here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Springs. And that, once again, that is starting on Monday, July 12th. And the next day, on Tuesday, July 13th at 6:30 p.m., Reverend Eunice is starting a 5-week summer course, Living the Life of Your Dreams. The secret to manifestation is to be that which you want to manifest. The law of mental equivalence states that you must become the consciousness of your desire. In 5 weeks, you will learn the law of mental equivalence, you will demonstrate, and you will have fun. So, please join us. This class will be offered on a love offering basis, and it's both in person here at the center and online. So please join us. That's starting on Tuesday, July 13th. And on 6:30 p.m. So, and I will give a quick tease now. You can always look up on our website, cslps.org. The drop-down page will have the information and the start times and the links for these things too. But that's Tuesday, July 13th at 6:30. And then on Sunday, July 18th, after the service at 12:15, join us for our first post-pandemic workshop titled Truing Your Wheel of Life. The Truth Shall Set You Free. And that will be presented by Reverend Judy Osuna. And using the Wheel of Life, you will discover and walk away from the workshop with a step-by-step plan to live a life that you love. Specifically, you will learn to listen to your own inner guidance, discover action steps that give you purpose, and retrain your body to take action. Something I need to do after COVID. This workshop is offered on the love offering basis, and you can choose to attend either in person once again, or we will have that also live on Zoom. So that is Sunday after church, Sunday, July 18th after church, starting at 12:15. And finally, on Sunday, July 25th at noon, our next co-creator orientation will take place, and that's going to be here at the center and online. Join us for lunch and our presentation of Jumpstart Your Life. If you're interested, please pick up one of our brochures, which is back on the table. Thank you, Mitch, for putting those back there. And that contains an application. We'll tell you everything you need to know about becoming a co-creator. And if you're out of town, please call Margie Roth at the office, and she will set you up with an application. So, did you know that you can ensure consistent financial support for CSLPS even when you're out of town for the summer or on vacation? You can designate the amount and frequency of your gift and can increase or decrease it as needed. It's easy to do. Simply sign up for our CSLPS Auto Tithe by calling Margie Roth in the office. We also have the ability now to take credit and debit cards for our conscious giving ritual. There's a table in the back. And so stop by the table back there in the right-hand corner. And before or after the service, you can make a donation, and we will give you a simulated dollar to put in the basket during our conscious giving. And lastly, if you're interested in being part of the co-creation of October's Mystery Dinner, please call Reverend Eunice or Margie Roth. There are a number of teams for you to choose from. We have the acting and directing team, the silent auction team, the decoration team, the production team, and the food team. So this is a great way to make new friends and have lots of laughter and fun. That's October's Mystery Dinner, signing up volunteers right now. Okay, now we're going to have a quick quiz about dates and times and all the things that are going on around here. Everybody's ready? Okay. It's multiple choice. Just kidding. So in a few minutes, we're going to have Reverend Mark Accomando sharing this week's message, and Tatiana Renfeather will be offering today's reading and invocation. Patricia Minkle is on High Watch during today's service. And our practitioners will be available for one-on-one prayer immediately after the service in the chapel today. So let's take a moment to prepare for the reading and invocation by making ourselves comfortable wherever we are. Let's uncross our arms and our legs and feel the energy of love, which is always flowing in, through, and around us. Let's take a deep collective breath and let the music take us all just a bit deeper.
Open wide my heart. 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 Open wide. Open wide my heart. Open wide my heart. Open wide my heart. My heart.
Good morning and welcome. I am Tatiana Renfeather, practitioner emeritus here at the center, and I'm so happy to see everybody in person. I have little butterflies. I've been in hiatus for 15 months, but it's wonderful to be here and see all your beautiful faces and feel this loving energy. And Cindy is telling me I'm not speaking loud enough. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Today's reading is an excerpt from a Joseph Campbell companion. On the brink of illumination, the old ways are very seductive and liable to pull you back. There is a Sufi story told by Hallaj. One night, a moth sees a lamp, a burning flame enclosed in glass. It spends the whole night bumping against the glass, trying to become one with the flame. In the morning, it returns to its friends and tells them of the beautiful thing it has seen. They say, "You don't look better, the better for it." This is the condition of the yogi trying to break through. So it goes back the next night and somehow or other gets through. For an eternal instant, it achieves its goal. It becomes the flame. Tat tam asi, thou art that. And so here is the subject and here is the object, the soul and God. Between is a pane of glass. Remove the pane, and there is neither subject nor object, because to have an object, you have to have a subject. The final barrier to enlightenment is the barrier that prevents you from becoming one with God. The pane of glass is a way of speaking about the dividing factor. Removing the glass suggests the annihilation of the veil of ignorance that keeps you from knowing God. So let's take a moment or so to contemplate these wise words, turning inward and aligning with Spirit. Mother, Father, God, Holy Infinite Presence, oh, how sweet it is to recognize, sense, and know that there is only one power, one presence, one love, one mind, that eternal presence of the Most High God that fills and fulfills every nook and cranny of life. God is behind all things seen and unseen, the Alpha, the Omega, and everything in between. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is not a single spot that God is not. Therefore, I know that God is right here, right now, right where I am, and right where everybody in this room and within the sound of my voice, that we are all spiritual beings having this human incarnation, that we are one in this vast power, this love, this peace, this harmony, this joy, that we live in a field of limitless potential and infinite possibilities. And with God, the sky is the limitless, that we are one in the heart of God. So from this place of oneness and communion and union and alignment with the great Spirit of the Most High, I speak this word. First of all, for our center here that I am so grateful to be a part of, and for everybody here today, the co-creators, the guests, all the newbies, that we are all one family, one joyous community, open and receptive to knowing God on a deeper level. So I bless the service today. I bless everyone who's brought it together. Our beloved practitioner, Patricia's holding high watch. Our MC, Steve, who does a fabulous job. And of course, Jeff, our device magician. And most of all, our Reverend Mark Accomando, also known as Reverend Meditation Mark. And I know that his message is God's message, and that we are all open and receptive to hearing the word, that we are made new in this moment, that we rise in God, that we know God, that we sense God, and that we are all blessings and we are blessed today. And that this power within us and all around us, this love that we're feeling, we can send it out into the universe and know that we make a difference as we send light and love out into the world, and it comes back to us 100-fold. That everything is in divine order because it's all God and it's all good. So with great gratitude and thanksgiving for this moment, for this service, for this center, and for everybody here today, I say thank you, Lord. I can release it into law, knowing this prayer is answered, it is done, and together we can affirm it by saying, and so it is. Amen.
God is the whole of me, love flows through me. God is the whole of me, love flows through me. God is the whole of me, love flows through me. God is the whole of me, love flows through me. I give, forgive, love flows through us. God is the whole of us. Forgive, forgive, embrace, embrace, receive, receive. Om Mani Padme, 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 Om.
Put that in there. Are we on? Yay. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, yay. I love that song, Jeff. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. That last song, he actually wrote that. You know, Jeff is a composer, writer, songwriter, brilliant genius musician. So we really appreciate him. And not only to mention the fact that he puts all that sound and all that stuff we've been doing this last year online, he put it all together. So give him a hand. Thank you, Jeff. So wow, I'm glad to be here live today. I feel like Stephen Colbert or somebody, and like I heard they were in their back room the whole time for this last year, and that's kind of what I felt. We were doing all our Sunday talks and everything out of our rooms and our offices, and so it's so nice to be here live. And so I'm excited. I wanted to give a special shout out to Patrick. I don't know if anyone gave you a shout out yet, but you did all this beautiful painting. He's an artist, one of our local Palm Springs artists, and he helped paint this whole space. So we come back after this whole year of being away to this beautiful space. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, thank you. Wow, gosh, today I'm talking about the soul's journey, the soul calling, you know, and how it's a process. It's not something that just happens one day and you're done, you know. And I wanted to share a little bit about the journey. The journey is the same for all of us. And Joseph Campbell, we're going to be watching on Wednesday night, talks about that. He's a mystic who studied the world, religions, and teachings around the world, and he found something really amazing out. He found that every one of these teachings, all these ancient stories, all these mystical stories, are telling the same story. And it's your story, and it's my story. It's happening now, and it's always happening, it's always been happening. All these stories that help us to make it interesting, you know, to hear and to be reminded, really, what this path, what this soul path is. I like to call it the soul calling. He calls it the hero's journey. Have you heard of the hero's journey before? Yeah. So we're all on a hero's journey. The most amazing thing, like I was talking to my friend Michael, a good buddy of mine for many, many years. I call him my soul brother. And we were talking about, and he heard I was doing the talk on Sunday. And he's known me for 20 years. I've been doing this stuff. And whenever I do a Sunday talk, don't tell anybody, I get nervous before I come up. You know, like I'm always like nervous. Like I used to be really, really bad. I used to have like almost like this. My hands would be sweating, and I'd be all like, "Oh my God!" I'd be over preparing myself, you know. And I was just like had all this stress going on. And he said, "Well, how are you doing with your preparation? Are you all nervous?" I said, "You know, I'm not really as nervous as I used to be." And so we were talking about that, and I said I was listening to this guy. What's his name? Seeks. Anyone know his name? Kyle Seeks. Heard of Kyle Seeks? And he talks about that you don't have to prepare anything, that you are already prepared. Just get up and do it. I'm like, yeah, right. Easy for you to say, but you know, he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, that guy, telling everyone they could do that. You know, so maybe I should think about that a second time. Right? Maybe I don't have to prepare. Well, Michael and I, we're a little older, maybe a little wiser, I hope. I don't know. But we were saying, you know, yeah, it does take time to prepare. We do have to prepare. I mean, at least to some degree, get a general idea, you know. Preparation isn't a bad thing. Having some structures in our life is not a bad thing. Having some balance is a good thing, you know. And so the preparation part is not just preparing for the talk, it's preparing our life, our consciousness, that we can step into the possibility and potential of who we are and who we're becoming and who we're meant to become. That we can do that right now, and that's what the path is all about. They call it the cycle of suffering, or the cycle of, not suffering, that's another one, the cycle of growth. There's 3 elements of this hero's journey. It's called, there's the, can you put that one up real quick, the first, yeah, there it is. So it's a separation, initiation, and return. This is the hero's journey. Where do you want me to stand? We got it straight up. So separation, initiation, and return. Okay? And so this is what happens for all of us. One of the best, simplest examples is the Wizard of Oz, right? When Dorothy was, having a nice time in the home, in the backyard, in the gardens, and all this stuff, and all of a sudden what happened? A tornado came. Separation. Everything fell apart, right? And then she was sent off onto this world of the Wizard of Oz, right? And she was on this journey, and during that time she was being initiated. Everything fell apart in her life, and then she had this wicked witch, right? She had to constantly wrestle with, right? And the wicked witch is the part that was initiating her, not to fight against the wicked witch, but to find herself, to find her own strength. And once she found her own strength, and she went through this journey, this amazing journey, I don't have time to tell you the whole story, I'm sure you know it. One day, at the end of it, well, actually she found her heart and her courage, and through all those examples in the Wizard of Oz, she wanted to go home. And what did she have to do? She had to click her heels, right? And that was always there. But she didn't know that. She had to go through that journey to know that what she was looking for was already within her. The hero's journey, right? It's already within us, you see. It's the same story with Tatiana. Thank you so much for that beautiful invocation and reading about the moth, right? The moth was going out and is trying to find, and we're all on this journey of searching and the calling. It's called the calling. That's the start, the separation, right? And then you go through that period of time where you're searching and searching, you're looking for the beauty and the love, and everything falls apart, and one day you merge with the light, you see? And that mergence doesn't mean you die as a human being. It's like that's a metaphor. The whole thing is a metaphor, right? But we go through these stages, and it's meant to us to happen, to lose ourselves into this oneness, the light of oneness that's within all of us right now. It's always been there, it's here right now. But we have to go through the trials and tribulations. We have to go through the second thing here with the second, you want to show the second slide? And the second slide, it shows, it talks about, first you go through the call, separation, you have fear. It's called the reluctant hero. You don't really want to go, but you know something's calling you to go, right? And then you go through a threshold, a crossing over, from being in your comfort zone to stepping out into the world, right? There it is. Oh, wait, no, sorry. As you step out into the world, you're now being set on this journey. And on that journey, all kinds of wonderful things are happening. Your roads and trials and tribulations, night adventure, and during that time, there's the initiation, the threshold crossing. You're stepping out. And what happens during that stage is you're being tested, right? Like Dorothy. You're being tested. You're finding yourself. And I know for myself in my own journey, I remember when I was on this journey, I finally left Chicago. I was born and raised in Chicago. I finally left. I finally stepped out. It was the scariest thing in my life, but I had a beautiful spiritual teacher from the Center for Spiritual Living in Chicago, and he encouraged me to follow my heart. He encouraged me to step outside of your comfort zone, Mark, and follow your... He used to say that all the time, step outside of your comfort zone. Look at your fears, feel your fears. Your fears aren't bad. Your fears are actually telling you something if you could just but listen to them. And he would tell me to constantly step out. So one day I listened to him. I said, okay. And he said, follow those things that are interesting to you, follow those things that are meaningful to you, and follow those things that bring you a sense of joy. And if you do that, that will become your life work. You don't have to figure it out, Mark. I was always trying to figure it out. You don't have to figure it out. He said, but you got to trust the process. And that's what I love about this teaching, the science of mind. It gives us a ground, an anchor, a structure from where we can live our life and face this journey. This journey is a cycle, comes and goes. It's like a spiral going up. We constantly face the separation. We go through the initiation. We come back to the return. The return part, the third part, the return, is where you come back to tell your story. You come back to help others, to share your gifts and talents in the world. But you have to go through the initiation first. So when I left Chicago to step out, I left my job. I had a small company that I left. And I just stepped out into the world. But like my friend Mike I was talking about, I had to have some structures in place. I didn't want to just go out and not have any. We live in a world where we have to have some ground beneath our feet. That's one of the things I learned about in this teaching. I had to make sure I had, some type of work or some type of money so I could do this journey, but I still had to take that leap from what I was comfortable with to something new. So I did. I took that leap, and my life started unfolding in amazing ways, and it was scary as hell. It was scary. But life kept asking me to step out. And what happened was, when I was on this journey, looking back, I can see it was my hero's journey, And at some point, I went to India, and I was on another thing. I just kind of took this leap of faith, and I went to India, and I went up to where the Himalayas are, and where the Tibetan monks live, and the Dalai Lama, and I spent some time up there. And I went there because I was seeking. I was in the calling stage. I was in the initiation stage. I didn't know it, but that's where I was at. And I'm there, and I'm having this amazing experience with the monks, and I'm in this bliss. I'm one with the one, and I'm having these amazing experiences. And I'm finally finding myself. And one day I was off on a hike, and I was trying to find this waterfall that everyone was talking about, a little bit higher from where I was staying. And during that time, they told me where the path was, but I guess I got lost, and I'm on the path, and I'm walking and walking and walking, and the path keeps getting more narrow and narrow. It kind of went like this. It kept going like this. At one point, it got really, really narrow. Like, narrow so much where it was like 100 feet cliff up this way and hundreds of feet down here. So I'm walking along the cliff like this, and I'm like, and it starts to rain. It starts to rain, and I'm walking, and I'm like, what the hell? This can't be the trail, right? And so I'm walking, and all of a sudden, as I turn the corner, there's a 2-foot gap in the mountain, and I'm afraid to turn around. I'm paralyzed in fear. I can't even turn around because I was afraid if I turned around, I was going to fall because it was that narrow, right? And so I had to take that little it was only 2 feet. It wasn't that big, but for me, it was like a mile, And because I froze. I remember my whole body was like this. And so I just remembered that when I was in those yoga classes, they told me to breathe, And so I took a few breaths. And something in me said, Mark, if you take that step and you're in this kind of fear, you could possibly fall. You have to relax your body. And then I remember something about science of mind telling me that you are what you think. Watch your thoughts. What are you thinking? Your fears, look at them. Don't make them wrong, but listen to them. They're valid. But claim your truth. You are balanced. You are poised. You can do this. And so I just sat there. And the fears were all there, right? Like I was afraid if I fall, no one knew I took this hike this morning. Like nobody was ever going to find me. So all this stuff is going through my mind. So I get to that step, and I'm there, and I said, okay, I'm just going to relax in my body. I remember I used to mountain bike, that you had to be limber when you mountain biked. You couldn't be like this. And you can't put on the brakes too fast. Your bike will flip. So I remember when I was mountain biking, I had to be like this, right? And so I remember that too. So all this kind of was flooding to me in that moment, and I took that leap like that, and I made it, right? I made it. It was the part of the initiation. And I got around the corner, and I was still on that damn goat's path, because that wasn't really the path I was supposed to be on. It was some type of goat's path or something. And so I see like a little ledge, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get off this path somehow. And I literally had to climb up some vines to get up this ledge. And I get up there, and there's this flat like space, like a little pasture, little mini pasture. And there's a little tiny hut. And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. There's a little monk up there, and he's walking with a bucket of water. I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the ground, like he can tell something had happened to me, and I was just like beside myself. And so he brought me in his little hut, and he gave me a little bit of water. I was afraid to drink the water, because in India you're not supposed to drink the water. I said, well, this guy, I got to drink some water. you know. So I drank the water he gave me, and he showed me to the path. I spent about almost an hour with this guy, and he showed me all around. He didn't speak a word of English, but he showed me, and the love that he brought me, the embrace that he gave me that day was a part of my initiation. And I learned a lesson. The lesson was everything in my life had prepared me for that moment. Prepared me for that leap, prepared me for that step. Everything had prepared me for that. And, you know, that I thought, oh, wow, I've arrived. I've done the hero's journey. Like, I didn't think of it that way, but hey, I know the truth now, you know? And so, you know, I had the most amazing experience there in India. It was very transformational on many levels, initiation. And I came home, and everything got worse. My whole life fell apart. I ended up becoming the minister of the Center for Spiritual Living in Raleigh, North Carolina, and talk about initiation. I was like completely initiated by all the people I had to work with, and I was green, and I was like, you know, and all this stuff was going on. Oh, actually, before that, though, I was in Chicago, and I was going through like an internship there. And while I was during my internship, all my stuff was coming up. All my fears, all my doubts, all this anxiousness that I had, this insecurities that were so deep that I wasn't enough, that something was wrong with me, you know? But it's amazing how the universe will conspire to show you things in a way that you wouldn't expect if you just open up a little bit. So I was always practicing opening up. I was trying to stay in the teachings and to stay open, even though I was so afraid. Again, I didn't know I was in the initiation, but I was. The fears were part of my initiation. And what happened was one day, I was sitting in my living room, and I was in the throes of a pattern of addiction. And I was really trying to evade that, but it just kept happening. You know, I kept finding myself going down this path that I said I wasn't going to go down, in this path of the pattern of addiction. And I had just gotten out of the hospital. It was this horrible infection I got in my body, probably because I was poisoning my body every week with what I was doing, you know. And so I was there sitting in a chair. I was recovering from this thing, and I'm just like, what am I going to do with my life? My whole life is falling apart. During the separation, everything falls apart. All that you knew falls apart. And I was in that space. And I'm sitting there, I'm asking my inner wisdom, higher power to show me, guide me. And I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to meditate. And I lived in an area called Uptown. I don't know anyone from Chicago. Any Chicago people? Uptown Chicago? Yeah, you know what Uptown is? It's got a little Asia area, a little sketchy, kind of weird area, but kind of cool actually at the same time. And I'm sitting there. We lived in the third floor flat, and I'm sitting there having a nice little meditation. I'm trying to meditate, and all of a sudden I hear this crash behind me, like something hit the window. I'm like, what the hell was that? And I look, and the screen I had was like one of those screens you close the window down on. You know, it's like one of those screens, accordion kind of screen you put between the window and the ledge. It had moved. It was like sideways and kind of fallen. I'm like, what the heck, did a bird? I thought maybe a bird flew in. But I noticed my cat that was sitting next to me wasn't there. I'm like, where's Nelson? My cat's name was Nelson. And, and I said, where's Nelson? I'm looking around, can't find Nelson. So I look out the window. I thought maybe he jumped out as on the ledge, because there was a ledge on there. And I look out the window, and there's this guy across the street, I said it was kind of a crazy neighbor. This guy smoking a cigarette like this. He's always out there smoking cigarettes like that. So he sees me looking out the window, and he says, "Are you looking for your cat?" I'm like, "Yes." "He jumped out the window." I'm like, "Oh my God, you're kidding me." And so I like, oh my, so I get up and I run down the stairs, and he went down the alley. And so I go down there, I'm running down the alley trying to find my cat, and sure enough, my cat had fallen 3 floors. And went underneath the car. And I'm still recovering from this knee surgery thing. I could hardly walk. And I finally catch the cat, I go back up, and I bring the cat home. I get him all checked out. He was actually okay. No broken bones or nothing. These cats are amazing. He must have went like this when he was falling. But anyway, he did something. He was okay. But it freaked me out. And I was in that place where I didn't know what the hell was going on in my life. And thank God at the time I had a wonderful minister, but I also had a wonderful counselor, therapist I was working with. And he was a Jungian psychologist. You ever heard Carl Jung? In Jungian psychology, they teach about that everything's happening for a reason. Everything's happening for a reason. Everything's happening on purpose for you. Well, even when you don't like it. So I said, okay. He said, what does the cat represent to you? What does the cat represent? I said, well, the cat represents fear. This little cat that I had, I've had him since he was a little kitten, but he was always afraid of everything. I could come home at the end of the night and take my shoes off, and he'd be afraid of the shoes. He was afraid of everything. I said, Nelson, I'm not going to kill you. I've had you for 8 years. Don't be afraid. But he was always afraid, you know? And so this cat represented fear. And he said, what does the cat jumping through the window mean to you? Hello. Like I'm a little slow learner. But it meant I needed to move through my fears. I was stuck in my fears. I needed to move through my fears. One of my greatest fears was comparing myself to other people, that I wasn't enough. Somehow I didn't measure up, you know? And that cat taught me the lesson. So that was part of my initiation. It was right after that when I started getting sober. I realized that that pattern of my addiction was actually a part of almost like a self-medication kind of thing that I was doing, because I didn't want to feel that pain. And I was numbing it, trying to escape, doing everything I could to not want to feel that, because I wanted to pretend like that wasn't there, but it was there. And so I practiced, and so that journey helped me to open up to something much greater than I ever could have imagined. I stepped out into the world, and that's when I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. The initiation continued. The fears continued. I remember I would go every Sunday, because now I was a senior minister of the church, and every Sunday I would go, and my hands would be sweating. I'd be so nervous before I went up there to speak. But you know what? The soul has nothing that it needs to prove, and has nothing it needs to defend. Nothing to defend, nothing to prove. And I started recognizing that. You know, I thought that I needed to be like Dr. Michael Beckwith. Anyone know Dr. Michael Beckwith? And I said, if I only had dreadlocks, then people would like me, you know? He's an amazing spiritual teacher, if you've ever heard him. He's dynamic. You know, he knows the truth. He connects with the light. He's gone into the fire. He's become one with it, as we all have on some levels, you know? But he really inspired me. And I wanted to be like Michael Beckwith, but I wasn't. And I was constantly comparing myself to everybody else, and that was contributing to all my fears. I started to see this. This is what I was so afraid of, my comparing myself to everybody else in the world. I have a quick little video I want to share with you. It's a 3-minute video. If you can share that real quick.
When does a thought become an action? This is the story of what motivates me to reach beyond the everyday and attempt something extraordinary. My name is Mitch Gaylord, and this is my Fitspiration. All I wanted to do as a kid growing up was to fly. That was my earliest dream, was, you know, watching Superman and being inspired by that, flying in the sky and being a superhero. My mother was smart enough to see this love of flying that I had. She saw me flipping off diving boards all the time, and she enrolled me in a trampoline class. From the first moment I got on that trampoline, I knew I'd found my home. I had no idea about gymnastics or where that sport would ever take me, but the coaches saw the talent, and they said, you gotta do this sport. I competed for the first time at the Junior Olympics. The idea was to place in the top 12 in this competition so that you got to stay for a 2-week training camp with the head honchos of USA Gymnastics. So this weird thing happened to me when I got to the event. I started to get very intimidated by seeing all these other gymnasts that I had heard of, and I almost felt like I wasn't worthy of being there. I made mistakes on 50% of my routines, and when they announced the top 12, unfortunately I was 13th. And this was the first big turning point in my gymnastics career, where I had to kind of look myself in the mirror and say, what are you doing here? Are you really meant to be in this sport? Are you ever going to be able to compete at that level? It was a major, powerful motivator for me to work harder, become better, and never let that happen again. So we traveled to Europe to compete in a dual competition with France before we went to Moscow for the World Championships. And I was the alternate on that team when I should have been on the team. And in that competition, I got to compete, and I won. On the flight home, Kurt Thomas, a great gymnast before my time, said, "Hey, look, Mitch, I've been following your career. You're by far the most talented gymnast we have in this country, yet you're the alternate on the team. What's going on with you?" And I basically said, I lack confidence and I lack that extra belief in myself that I'm supposed to be at those top levels. And he said, "It's gotta be mental because your talent is there. Do you wanna come train with me? I'll coach you each and every day, and I'm gonna teach you what the love of performance is like versus the fear of competition." So every night on this tour, I would go out and perform to the crowd, and I learned the love of that, and it built so much confidence in me, and it made all the difference in the world. So from 8th place in 81, I went to 2nd place in 82, and 1st place in 83 and 84, and I finally led the country, and it felt great. The highlight of my career was standing up there on the victory stand with my teammates and winning the first ever USA Men's Gymnastics gold medal. So I look back at that with so much pride that we were able to pull together and make history like that. It was really just an incredible, incredible experience.
Pretty amazing, huh? Pretty amazing. He went from I love what the coach taught him, to love his performance instead of the fear of the competition. That was huge. When I heard that, I was like, that's what I need to hear. It's not performance necessarily, it's about sharing your soul with the world, the love of that. Instead of the fear of not being enough, the fear of comparing yourself to other people. I call it the disease of comparisons. It's a horrible block and disease in our culture. I wish the whole world could go through this hero's journey, right? You see how many people are blocked. Why are we so blocked to the hero's journey? Because we're afraid. An interesting thing about fear is that fear is something to be listened to. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you if you have fear. Fear is actually there on purpose. It's an inner guidance system. It's part of your inner guidance system. Our job is to learn how to be with it. What's it telling you? How's it trying to guide you? How's it trying to open you up? How's it trying to actually face it and go through it and step in it, and step through it? There's nothing wrong with you if you have fear. Nothing. Fears are normal. They're natural. We're supposed to have them. It helps us to stay alive on the planet, and it can be a very powerful motivating factor. Same thing with anger. You get angry. Anger isn't a bad thing. Anger can be a very powerful motivating factor for change, right? And as we start to listen to our soul, all the fears are going to come up to the surface. There's nothing wrong with you because all the fears are coming up. It's a part of our journey. We have to stop telling ourselves the story that something is wrong with us because we have fears. So here's the most wonderful thing. We have a community. One of the things that I watched the rest of that video from Mitch Gaylord, he talks about his gym that he has with his wife up in Austin, Texas. And he talks about the fact that he loves that gym so much, and the gyms that him and his wife have created. It's because when I go there to be with like-minded people, and I get to teach, I get to share his hero's journey. He gets to share it with the world. Well, that's what this is about. What we're doing here today as a spiritual community, we're supporting, we're uplifting each other. We need each other to do this spiritual journey, to step through it, to live it. Because we have fears. It's normal. But sometimes we can't always navigate them because we're so close to them, right? And this amazing teaching, the science of mind and spirit, helps us to develop the ground and the structure, the place from which we can stand to walk through the hero's journey. You see? So when the soul is free, it merges with the light, right? When the soul is free, it doesn't have anything it has to prove. It has nothing it has to defend to be who you are, right? It's actually asking you to feel all of that and do it anyway. That's how we open up to the soul's journey. So I want to share with you a quote, and I'm going to do a little process with you guys to connect with the light, okay? This actually is it's in the Science of Mind book on page 549. And it's pretty much, it's under what he calls meditations for self-help in the Science of Mind. So let's go within right now. Let's take a few conscious breaths right now. And just go within. I'm going to take you on a little hero's journey to the soul, to the heart. Just taking a few conscious breaths as we bring our attention inward now. Within you is the fullness of life. Within you is complete joy and everlasting peace. Within you is a connection with all of life, all of creation. Thou art in me, and I am in thee. We are all in all. My life is full and complete within me right now. And that life I give to all people freely, to all life freely. And from all I receive again that which I have given. For it is one in all. I am one with the fullness of life. Thou art that. Tat Savam Asi. As we quiet and still our mind, we connect with that inner ground of peace, wholeness, oneness. A light of peace that is always here. Each one of us has this light within us, this light, this consciousness. The Christ light, the Buddha consciousness. It's already here right now, in this moment. You are and I am perfect, whole, and complete just as we are right now, in this particular moment, in this spot, sitting here breathing this breath. Nothing you have to fix or figure out. Nothing to prove or defend to be who you are. We create a space to listen now from that inner wisdom, that there is a wisdom within us that is deeper than the intellect, that's wanting to control the world. As much as we need our intellect to navigate the complexities of life, we have an inner guiding wisdom, a vast, infinite wisdom that is always here. And so we trust this wisdom. We trust this light within as we allow ourselves to merge with it, to become one with it, like the moth. In this place, we are liberated. We are free. Our soul is free to be and to become all that we were meant to become. In this place, we are surrendered to this infinite beloved presence that is guiding us each day in new and exciting ways and quite often in unexpected ways so that we know that it came from God, from this infinite source. And so each of us is on a hero's journey. Can we honor ourselves where we are at this point of our hero's journey and love ourselves, accept ourselves, acknowledge ourselves and each other on this path? So taking a few conscious breaths now. As we begin to bring our attention back. We're all on a journey together. We're so grateful to be here with all of you, with each other, knowing that we're in some level today, we're supporting and uplifting each other just by being here in consciousness. So if you need support, if you need love, guidance, upliftment, this is where we come to get it, right? Becoming a spiritual community. It's the coming to that energy and that vibration that helps us to live dynamically on this hero's journey. So thank you all so much for coming and joining us this morning. It's live in person. This is wonderful. Yay, thank you. Thank you. I hope you got connected with that place, at least a little bit, right? Get connected with that. So I think we're going to do our, what's next? We're doing our love offering? We have some, yeah, okay. Oh, you got some new welcome? If you didn't get the welcome packet, you want to raise your hand if you're, you want to get a welcome packet over here, some few people? Right over here, yeah. Okay. So, the hero's journey, we're on it. We're already on it, right, Tatiana? So as we take our gift in our hand, just giving thanks for this precious opportunity to come together, knowing that we are supporting and uplifting each other in all the ways that we share ourselves, in all the ways that we give, and from the gifts of time, talent, and treasure. And so we know that this beautiful spiritual community is supported abundantly in every level and every way. And we give thanks for your contributions and your love and your consciousness that has really helped this beautiful center continue to grow and evolve even through our pandemic and all that we've been through this last year. So thank you so much. So as we take that in your hands, we give it thanks and blessings, knowing that we are living in an abundant universe. As we give, so shall we receive. And we just open up to receive and to give and to stay in that flow now and always. Amen. Namaste. All right, so I'm going to pass those around. Thank you very much. Oh. Justin. Oh. Here. Thank you. So, what's next? Are we doing Steve coming up? Yeah, Steve's coming up. Hey. All right. Thank you again for being here today. It's exciting to be able to be here with you guys live. I'm so excited to be back in person. All right?
That was great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes. So, wonderful message. Thank you, Tatiana. That was just all works together so well.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to Wednesday night already, yes.
Come to the hero's journey. That movie's going to be really amazing. Yeah.
So, yes. So just a couple of reminders. All those announcements, you can find the information on the website, cslps.org. We will have practitioners in the chapel immediately after the service for individual prayer, for healing and revealing your highest good. And with that, let's go to the affirmation. Yeah. So, please read along with me. I am at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I live in the consciousness of peace. I can never be separate from my source. I am living love. Hallelujah. Amen. All right. And we are going to close this morning with a sing-along version of the Peace Song. And so please stay and join, and if you're watching at home, please sing along with us from home. From all of us here at the center, we see you, we honor you, and we look forward to seeing you all again next week. Have a great week, everybody. Namaste.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and is playing with me, squawking and sharing my tea in a dream. Behind the musty straw bales and feed sacks and rabbits for sale, I found him silent and frail in a cage. Softly I play in the still heat of day while he's sleeping. Sweetly he sings, head tucked in his wing as he dreams. Through luminous vaults of air he flies. Beneath tapestries of branches and leaves and light, if I'm persuasive and calm, blue ball will sit on my finger, but he won't stay very long to play. Mornings when I go to work, he sings while I iron my shirt. So cheerful and tame, but mindful the same of the window. Softly I play as the day turns to late afternoon. Doves swirl and fly inside of the rising moon. Through luminous vaults of air we fly. We've canopies of stars in the black